Well, hello there. My name is Mark Miles, and I love helping trainers, presenters really take their results to the next level. Now, in today's video, I want to talk to you about a topic called attention span. Attention span. And essentially, what we often find with training and workshops is that a lot of times trainers and facilitators are forgetting the fundamental fact that people's attention spans are going down faster and faster and faster. And yet, we're still expecting people to have the same level of attention and focus that maybe we thought that people should have maybe 5 or 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. You see, what we've discovered though is that ultimately, as a trainer or presenter, if you truly want to engage your audience, you have to take charge of people's attention span and work with it, not against it. And today, in today's video, I want to talk to you about the topic of the 8 minute rule and how we can tie the 8 minute rule to working with, in alignment with people's attention span and not against it. Because what we often find, as I said, is a lot of trainers and presenters forget that people do have limits on how much time they can actually dedicate to one task or focus on one thing. And very early on in my career, I came across an article that truly transformed how I looked at training and how I looked at how I can deliver and basically capture people's attention and hold it for long periods of time. And that article was called The 8 Minute Rule or The 8 Minute Lecture. Now, the 8 minute lecture, you can certainly Google it and you can read up on it. But essentially, it talked about the power of taking your content and breaking it into 8 minute chunks. And by doing so, it really heightened the level of focus and attention that people had in terms of what they were actually doing. Because what we often find is that a lot of trainers, presenters, facilitators will run activities, but the activity will go too long. And as soon as we see a participant or audience member starting to talk to another audience member about, so what are you doing on the weekend? So, what are you doing tonight? So, you enjoying the course? That kind of thing. Whenever we see conversation diverting off the activity that we're actually doing, we often find that, yeah, we've gone too far and we've let the activity run too long. So, what we need to get into the habit of, if we want to have peak attention, if we want to have maximum focus on anything that we are doing, we need to do it in shorter chunks. And what I highly recommend people do is look at the content that you've got and break it down into shorter spurts. So, for example, maybe you are talking for 8 minutes. Then maybe the audience members, are doing something for 8 minutes. Then they are doing something else for 8 minutes. Then they're doing something else for 8 minutes. And here's what I know: the more variety that you actually have in your sessions and the more segments that you actually have within your entire workshop, the more people are going to be fully engaged, the more that they are going to be present for the experience that you are going to give them, and the more they're going to take away, which is ultimately what we are aiming to do as trainers, facilitators, and people that really want to have an influence on our audience. So I just want to share that idea with you. Start to think about how you can take your content and have multiple chunks and make any activities that you are doing much shorter in nature, because the transitions is what people find is the most engaging. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hope you got some value from it. Definitely start to think about how you can apply these ideas into your training. And don't forget, like, comment, share these videos around, and let's really get some of these ideas out there to trainers that can really experiment and apply and get some great results. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.